how you shape the kind of engagement that you want with these institutions depends very much on the game of interest that we have in the present state setting. Emma gave us a good picture of what these institutions are, and we heard from Jason the kind of interest that they have when they work within these institutions. Now, it's very important for us to understand the setting before we advise anything. As you said, Catherine, we've been engaging in this for many years, I would say many decades. And we happen to be one of the organizations that pushed the Bretton Woods institution to make the Civil Society Policy Forum what it is today, to get it be a kind of space for people to really engage. The kind of engagement that we need to have, and the kind of things that we've been advocating for our leaders to look at, is that, first of all, there is need for anything that we draw substantially. There is need for it to be respondent to what people expect. That is, what are the real needs that the people have? And to do so, there's no other way than consulting the communities. And consulting with the communities is not just doing the kind of thing that we see, like inviting people just to make sure that the civil society was represented. So what we do at national level, what we've been doing at national level, is to make sure that we identify all the tenets of the institutional setting. We do the analysis of how these tenets interact. We bring the issues that arise from them, and we push it up to the government to consider when they move ahead with collaboration with these institutions. So to do this, you need at national level to identify where the spaces are in terms of period and in terms of responsibility. Which ministry does what, and when do they do that? So what we've been doing is to make sure that we engage the Ministry of Finance, for instance, as they prepare the national budget, to make sure that what they have inside there has to do with what people expect, because it starts from there. To define the gap that takes you out to go and look for funding, as Jason just said, because one of the dynamics that we have with our leaders is that our countries, they always try to be in a position to be able to get funding outside there. That's why they would accept programs. That's why they will accept restructuring. That's why they will accept policy recommendations and make sure that they are good students for them to go out there on the financial market and get funding. So one thing that we try to do is, as we can't prevent them from doing this, because that's where their interest is, that is to keep their power and other things, they need to be doing that. As we can't stop them from doing it, what we try to do is to make sure that as they go there, they really understand what the people's needs are, and they really understand what the institutional setting is out there, as Jason was saying. When you go to engage the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, you should understand how they function. You don't go to the IMF and expect the IMF to bring you to lend you resources for development, as Emma was saying. If you don't know that that institution does not have the kind of funding that you want for your development, You may be wrong in the way you go there looking for the for financing. So what we try to do is we do those analysis, and we try to get government officials understand the settings, because when they are the ones who go there, they are the ones who attend the meetings, the World Bank and IMF meetings. So what we try to do is identify those who attend these meetings and get them understand what the settings are, get them understand what is at play, and make sure that they take into account what the people expect. At least they should draw that before they go and discuss out there. It takes me now to, what do we take when we go to attend these meetings? When we go to Washington to attend the IMF and World Bank meeting, what do we take? What we take is the same kind of analysis I was talking about, because when you get to Washington, you have a better availability from your own people to listen to you. So it is an opportunity, despite all the faults that we can cite. It is an opportunity for us even to engage with our own people, to be in these meetings and get them understand what the stakes are as they go there collaborating with these institutions. That's why in the past, the kind of work that we did with the IMF and the World Bank, as I said before, was to make sure that participation of the civil society is not just a kind of participation in a vacuum. We needed something well structured, which is formal. And that's how we got to the Civil Society Policy Forum, which at the beginning was totally controlled by the staff of the World Bank and the IMF, because they drew the agenda and everything. But we kept pushing so as for us to get to a point where there are civil society-led sessions. Indeed, they reacted to this by putting in place a kind of selecting process, which made them select civil societies that they would better control as those civil society shape the agenda. But still, what we continue to try to do is to make sure that African civil society, for instance, have the means and the possibility to still be part of this attendance, despite the kind of resistance that we can have there. So, to put it short, what we advocate for is that our governments, when they go to engage with the World Bank and the IMF, they must know what the people's expectations are. They must understand the institutional setting. They must understand the interests that are at play among the stakeholders. Because as we heard from Emma from the beginning, the IMF and the World Bank are not here for development. They are here to keep the interests of the West be attended to. And we need to understand that. And that's why part of our advocacy today, beyond what Jason was saying, is to get African governments understand that we also need to reflect on an alternative, something that is purely African or something that is purely Southern, in which we can develop our strengths and respond to the kind of challenges that we have, and still continue to engage with these people, but having a place where we can retire and go if things don't work well.